Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Africa. This is your host, Dr. FM here, Dr. Francis Munangi Mpindu, here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, the number one global African Caribbean online radio. We go live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, TikTok, and we're just so glad that you have joined us today. And today we have a special guest,
Connection.
and you will not be disappointed. So, thank you for joining us. We are live in over 100 different countries around the world. So, wherever you will be joining us from, please let us know so that we can acknowledge your presence uh, yeah, in this broadcast today. And so, again, thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about the role of technology in advancing Africa. And we have a special guest who is someone very, very knowledgeable as far as technology is concerned. We have Dr. Williams Obinchire, who is a computer science professor, and he has a doctorate in computer sciences as well. So we are talking to someone who is really knowledgeable. And so we want to get into our conversation today. And so Dr. Williams Obinchire, welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us today. We know that you're joining us all the way from Minnesota in the US. And so, again, thank you for being with us. So, when people hear the name Dr. Williams Obinchire, what would you like to tell us about yourself and tell us a little more in terms of your own journey? I understand that you are from the motherland. You are from Ghana originally. You were a professor and lecturer, and you were in the military in Ghana. You went to UK and then went to the US, back in UK, and now you are stationed in Minnesota in the United States of America. So thank you, sir. So tell us about your journey so that we get a better appreciation of the man behind the mic this day.
Okay, there have been few connection losses sometime on your system, so you have check it for me first. Okay, thank you for inviting me for this program, and I thank you for all your listeners, and I appreciate of being here. Um, for my journey, for my introduction, I'm Dr. Williams Obintre. I was originally born in Ghana. Uh, I started my life as a people teacher, teaching in primary and middle schools. I left and went to join the military. I was in the Ghana Air Force for 16 years. In the Ghana Air Force, actually, I did a lot of work. I served in most of the peacekeeping operation. I was in uh, Liberia, ECOMOG. I also went to Nigeria Air Force to study for 3 years. That's where even I started learning technology. That is around 1993 to 95. So I was still in the Ghana Air Force. I went to Lebanon and I worked with the UN as a humanitarian assistant. And I was teaching. Actually, my assignment at Lebanon with the UNIFIL, United Nations Interim Force for Lebanon, was to teach in the operational area. So I was the Gambat teacher. When I say Gambat, that is a Gambat, about 800 troops we go. I was selected as a teacher to teach in the operational area. So they assigned me a school in Kabreka area. If you've been to Lebanon, you may know those areas. And I was teaching English as a foreign language because the people there, these Lebanese, they speak French and Arabic. So wanted to introduce English to them. So anytime we go there, Ghana have been there for more than 20 years. So we have selected a school where we teach English so that the students, so those areas.
Well, it sounds like we just lost you for a little bit there.
Yes, I've seen the connection is lost. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So after the Ghana Air Force, I was in the Ghana Air Force when I attended the University of Ghana to study computer science and statistics. Graduated in 2003. I was 16 years by then in the military, so I just retired. So I wrote for retirement and they accepted it. And I went to London. In London, I studied my master's in information technology program at University of East London. So I stayed in London for about 8 years, 8 to 10 years. After my master's, I came back to Ghana and I became a lecturer and IT director in one of the universities, that is Regional University of Ghana. I stayed in Regional University in Ghana for 1 year, then came to the US, where I studied for my postmaster's in software engineering from
We seem to be losing Dr. Obinchire here. Um,
again. I don't. Hello.
yes, we can hear you, sir. Yeah, yes, we
Your
can hear
connection
you.
is yes. So I completed my PhD. Whilst my journey actually is all this education I'm talking about, I was working whilst I was studying. So it's not like I stayed home and went to school. I was in the military when I finished my master, my PhD. Went to London. I was working when I had my master's in the Nigeria Air Force Institute of Technology. I was still in the military when I went to Nigeria to study. My government took me there to study. Had my PhD while I was still a professor in the USA. When I got to the US, within 3 months, I became a professor in America. So I started teaching in 2010 as a professor in the USA. Whilst I went to all these schools. In the USA, in Minnesota, specifically in Minnesota, I've taught in schools like maybe some of my students may be listening. I taught at Brown College for 5 years. Then ITT Tech, a lot of people in America know ITT Tech, one of the biggest private institution in America. They have about 400,000 students, and it's called ITT Tech. It was established a long time ago when telephone system was established in America. They want people to know about telecommunication. So they created that school, ITT Tech. I was there and I was the chair of the information technology department. So when you say chair in Africa, we call it HOD.
Yes, you're freezing.
College in America, in the UMCTC, Minneapolis Technical Community Technical College. From there, I went to another college. These colleges are in the same education system. It's called Minnesota Universities and Colleges. So you can be teaching in most of them at the same time. So as I was teaching at MCTC, I was still teaching at Central College. Central College is another one of the largest in Minnesota. Then went to Mankato. Mankato is a four-year university where they have masters and PhD courses there. Then Metro State University. Then Anoka Ramsey, where I'm now living, Anoka Ramsey College. That is number 10th on rank. It's ranked as the 10th community college in America, Anoka Ramsey. So these are places I've been teaching as a professor. And what do I teach? I teach computer science, programming. I teach people how to code. I teach software engineering.
We keep losing Dr. Obinchire here. We just hope that he will be able to come back in and be able to stabilize your connection there. You're freezing for a little bit as well, so I think I'm
Yes,
not sure if there's something loose. If you could just
I have a good connection here. I don't know what is happening. Let me remove one of my Maybe I'm.
Our viewers and listeners, thank you for joining us today. We are delighted to have Professor Dr. Williams Obinchire, who is the computer science professor, and we are delighted to have him in the studio today as we talk about the role of technology in advancing Africa. He is someone who is very, very knowledgeable, and as you can tell, he has just been giving us a synopsis of his academic journey, how he started in Ghana as a teacher and did exceptionally well. Ended up in the military as well, in the Air Force. He was teaching there, participated in various peacekeeping projects in different parts of the world, and then ended up in the UK, where he did his MA in East London, again, information sciences, and now he is based in the US. So this is a very, very special program because we're going to be talking about the role of technology in advancing Africa. Africa, as we know, is not a dark continent. In fact, you all know that we are the second largest continent in the world, and so um, our population is huge, over five billion. And so when we talk about the role of technology in advancing Africa, this is a very, very important topic to us because Dr. Obinchile would agree with us here. Technology is here to stay. In fact, all we need to do is to get to understand how it works, become better at it, and use it, not just for personal gain, but also to influence the world around us. So this is a very, very special topic with a special guest, of course, Dr. Williams Obinchire, who is joining us today as we talk about the role of technology in advancing Africa. Now, Dr. Obinchire, before we get into the nitty gritties of our topic today, I'm just fascinated by the number of opportunities that you have had in terms of teaching and being professor in various colleges. I mean, the ITT Tech is huge, and of course the Minneapolis College of Technology is also big. Now, what are some of the challenges for you? You are not African American, you are African. So ending up in this type of environment and being, uh, you know, department head or chair, tell us a little bit about some of the dynamics that you went through to not really to fit in, but to take your role in that regard.
What interesting thing is, like I said, I go to America. Within 3 months, I became a professor. And the interesting thing I want to talk about is my first day I went to teach in the school. I had a friend. I came here. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. And from my house to the area is closer to the airport. It's closer to the airport, and it takes about 20. If you are driving, it takes about 25 minutes to get there. But I didn't have a car, so I have to take a bus. And the bus comes 1 hour.
Oh, we seem to have technology issues here with Dr. Obinre.
Just will take a
Uh,
train to take
yes.
another bus. The connection is intermittent. I don't know. I have my line is this into what do you call it? I have been fiber line too. I don't know. It never happened like that before. I don't know whether it's from your end or where. I don't know. Okay. So as I'm
Go ahead,
saying,
sir. Go ahead.
so as I'm saying, it takes me if I'm going to teach around 6 o'clock, I have to leave house at 1 a.m. So 1 p.m. so that it takes me about 3 to 4 hours before I get there. And when I close, the buses have closed. So a friend of mine who's in Nigeria will come and pick me. He is work in the night, he's not working. So the first day I went to the class and I was teaching, I went to a class and there were 25 students in the class and they are all white and black. And I'm the only professor with black. And me, I didn't realize that. The reason why I didn't realize that was I had my master's in London where my almost all my mates were white. So I blended. But my friend who came to pick me, a Nigerian, when he came, the security told him that I'm in a classroom. So he came and peeped because we have big glass. He was outside, I couldn't see him, but he saw me.
It's interesting. Technology is freezing at a point that we are really enjoying.
The security,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Say that
So
again
he came,
from the place. Say that again from the time that he came and saw you through the window.
he saw me through the window and we went back to sit in the security office. So when I closed at 11 o'clock, I went and met him. And I went and joined the vehicle. He was taking me home. This guy could not talk to me for about 10 minutes. He didn't say anything. And I didn't know, I didn't know what, there was no conversation between me and him because it's the first time he's picking me from the place. Then after about 15 minutes in the journey, he asked me, did I know my class, everybody was white? I told him I didn't know. And I was the only black person in the class, the teacher. I said, no, I didn't know because for me, when I went there, my aim was to teach students. So I saw the people as students, and that's why. See, this is the first time you've seen a black man teaching. Everybody in the class was white. I said I didn't see it, and the reason I didn't see it because before I came to America, I was a professor. I was a lecturer in Ghana. So I
Yes, you were used to that type of environment. That's an amazing story you just shared there.
about that, but he found it very strange. So we got here, and there's a few of them, but we want to talk about how Africa can develop. So let me pause and stop talking too much about myself, and let's go
Def-
into the
Definitely.
yeah
But you know what, Dr. Williams Obinchere,
yeah.
this is very important because it tells us about the kind of person you are. You fit in, you understand your role, and it looks like you have a good understanding of your role in the universe. You're not just passing through, but you're there to make a mark. And you have done that and you're doing that. And we're so grateful. If for you today to make time to be with us, I mean, you have a very busy life. There's so many things you could be doing, but you chose to join us today. So we are very, very grateful. So, as we look at Africa, you being a computer science professor, someone very, very knowledgeable, what do you see as opportunities for, um, technological advancement in Africa? What are some of the things that stand out for you? I know that you are a very insightful person, and I'm sure you have so many ideas, but what stands out for you when you think about the role of technology in advancing Africa? Oh, did we miss you again?
People in the Western world, they don't know why this is happening. Uh, I'm using a Wi-Fi. I'm using a Wi-Fi which is good, and I did this where I did my program the last time. This is where I teach my students when I'm teach online. So it's
Yeah,
strange that I don't know where
we
that this.
we apologize for that. So, what are some of the things that stand out for you as you think about the role of technology in advancing Africa?
Oh, okay. So when we talk about Africa, people think that Africa is about only natural resources, agriculture, and the population growth. They don't think about technology. But we have to understand that technology, natural resources, we have gold, we have everything. And for many years, before independence, we have all these things. And these things have not changed our lives too much. We've changed, but not changed most of our life.
Yes, you are right. Mhm.
connection. Einstein said that if you do it over and over and over again, and you think you are going to get a different result, then you must be crazy or must be thinking of, you are not thinking well. Because if we have been having oil, we have been having gold, we have been timbers, we have everything, and for before independence and after independence, and we are still sitting down, we are still, people believe that we are poor, then there's something wrong with us. So anytime we talk about Africa, we talk about agriculture, natural resources, population growth, and other things. But one powerful thing we have to understand that technology is what can take us from our situation. The first thing I'm going to talk about, there's something I want to talk about is four of the technology companies in America. Four of them, if you mention uh, Microsoft, Google, uh, uh, Apple, and Amazon, these four companies,
Hmm. Looks like Dr. Obichere keeps freezing here.
I don't know why
Yes,
it's
sir.
because my network is, I don't know. I don't know. But let me continue because maybe you have to take this
Yes.
thing again. Yeah, I'm saying that if you take four of technology companies in America here, who are Google, Amazon, um, Apple, and Microsoft, their income for a year is more than the combined total GDP of Africa. So we must have uh, uh, we have to shift our thinking that only natural resources and agriculture will not help us. What will help us is technology. So technology is no longer a tool; it's a catalyst, and this can drive Africa transformation and make us a prosperous nation, a prosperous continent. So that is my perspective.
Hmm. Dr. Obichere, you're absolutely right. And thank you for helping us to understand this. That,
I'll talk about how we are embracing technology. Hello.
yes, I was just saying thank you very much for helping us to understand that technology is no longer a tool, it is a catalyst. And we need to harness it. We need to find ways to connect with technology so that we can not just make a difference in the world, but we can also benefit from the technological advances or advancements so that Africa has a better future. And you being who you are, I'm really curious, and so is our viewers and our listeners, to hear your perspectives on some of those areas. So, are there specific areas? I know that you are very much into education, and I know that you are one of those people committed to language. And so I also privileged to have an idea of some of the things that you're planning to do and you have started to do as far as language skills and communication and education is concerned. So, talking about the role of technology in education, what are some of those things that stand out for you in terms of challenges and opportunities for Africa?
Okay, Africa is trying to is. I'm not going to condemn them. They are trying very hard. We have getting
Mm,
experience in digital technology and revolution in Africa now. Today, about 600 million Africans are connected to the internet through their mobile phone, and is fast growing. Economic is growing using technology. Though the mobile technology internet is not very good ideal for business because you see how they buy data and all those things. there's no much broadband internet. What they have is mobile internet. Is also a problem for Africa. But the people are doing well. Most of the young people are now trying to embrace technology. If you go to some of these areas, Nigeria and Kenya is using Pesa. That is digital money. If you go to Nigeria, there are other fence technology. If you go to Ghana is trying to
Oh,
embrace technology, our
looks
advancement.
like our
Yes, freezing again. Yeah.
yes.
We have to understand that these days we say data is gold. Have you heard that word before? Data is gold.
Yes.
And data is even more than gold, because everything we see on the computer is data. The AI is built with the data. So data is more valuable than gold these days. And data is what is driving us in technology. So if we are actually embrace technology, I think it will take us far than taking only natural resources. Like I said, in Pesa in Kenya, and there's some tech hub in Lagos. Africa is trying to catch up, but we have a long way to go. Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, 6 million Africans are connected as far as mobile is concerned. But I think you're touching on something very important there. You're talking about, yes, we have mobile access in terms of telephone systems and all that, but broadband in terms of internet, we still have lots of gaps. Now, uh, I also liked the fact that you're saying we cannot condemn, but we have to acknowledge where we are. And from there, we can say, what can we do to make things better? Now, you are someone I know who is very committed to languages and learning. So, what are some of the things you see in terms of gaps within our education system, and how can we tap into technology to be able to make the most of what is happening in the global
Yes.
village?
One, the areas we need to we can use technology to improve our lives and our country and our industries are: one, education and e-learning is one of the area where most countries are embracing e-learning in education, online classes and all those things. But I still talk about our obstacles, which I will talk about it maybe later if you have time.
Yes. Yeah, it keeps
We need
freezing.
electricity.
Hmm.
It's still breaking. Yeah, I don't know whether I have to move away from here and go somewhere else. But this is my office. I did a program here last 3 days, even last 3 days, and nothing happened like that. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating, but let's go on. Let's continue.
Okay,
I,
so you
I,
were talking
I
about e-learning. You were
e-learning.
talking about the
Yeah,
importance of
e-learning.
e-learning. Yes.
There was a time I even started. I have a colleague in Ghana, and you say you want to start teaching technology in Ghana, because I teach technology here. So why don't I do it in Ghana? So we start e-learning class, and most of the time, it's just like intermittently. Most of the students didn't have enough data to connect to the system. Sometimes we are teaching and there's a system lost like this thing, but we are teaching and the system is lost. Sometimes the student will not even know what you are talking about, and it was a little bit it's much frustrating. I taught the class for about 3 months, and later I thought that I'm not even giving them what it takes for them to be able to, because the network and those things were problem for that course.
Okay, before we move away from there, I'm just wondering, yes, there was a problem as far as the network is concerned, but in terms of content, the value that you were presenting, what was your experience
It
with them?
was up to now, some of my students call me. They call me because I was teaching them the beginning of coding, like C plus plus, which is the beginning. If you know C plus plus as a beginner, as a coder, then the other programming language become easier. So I was teaching them, and I was able to complete that session for them. And up to now, some of my students call me anytime I go to Ghana, they come to meet me, you know, and they even want more. We are even trying to incorporate, we are trying to start that school again with a help from one of the Indians university, because my colleague have just gone there to finish his my doctor degree in uh, artificial intelligence. So he came back to Ghana and he contacted them, and we are going to start a school very soon and see what we can do. We want to get good internet connection for the students and be able to give them that value, because we need these students. We have Africa have youth in youth population, and this population, a lot of them are not working. They are not doing anything. And when I was studying for my master's, one of my lecturers said something. It's technology alone is so you have only a phone or a laptop. You don't need capital to start anything in technology. You don't need capital to start anything in technology. Most of the time, if you ask Africans why are they doing anything, most of them are saying, oh, they don't have capital to start something. With a laptop, a computer, or a phone, you can start something. Because coding, if you code, you produce a good, you produce services. Everything we see on the computer we are using are coded as people. People did them. They actually they are called digital assets, and some of them are digital how do you call real estates. We are using Facebook. The Facebook was built like an app, and today it's billions of dollars. So, and I'm not sure when they started Facebook they were looking for capital. No, I've read about the story of how it started. The guy was in school and built a small app. It was just for poking people. A friend poke you and you poke your friend. Then they start sending messages. Before these guys find that this will be good, so he want to have a small server. It was when he wanted a big server that's how he went to look for money. Microsoft we are seeing now, if you do tech and you do research, started with only $50,000. He bought it from IBM. IBM, I talked in IBM last week. I was in the IBM conference, and I was a co-chair and I was a chair of a discussion panel. We want to see how we can help Africans to develop in business-wide, because IBM is business. So Microsoft was bought as a small app from IBM. Because IBM developed the system, and they wanted to use for business, but it was small. Business didn't want it. So they sold it to Bill Gates, and Bill Gates gave it to public. That's why it became Microsoft. And it's not small. So technology, we don't need capital to start technology. We don't need big capital. So this youth in Ghana or in Africa, in any part of Africa, can start something. You see the explosion of how do you call it? Social media. Let me tell you one simple thing, something that will blow your mind. TikTok, the owner of the TikTok got annual income is 20 million dollars. A person who uses TikTok, the person who uses TikTok as a content creator, get $21 million a year. Do you know where he come from? Senegal. So the person using the content creating content on TikTok is even having money more than the person who created the TikTok. So you see how Africans, most of them are creating a lot of content on they are not joking, they are doing something. A lot of them get income. from not TikTok alone, and from most of these platforms, because that's how the platforms make their money. Microsoft, Facebook getting money because we are writing. Most of people are writing some things there. Some are nonsense, some are good. But you know what they use to make money? All this information and pictures and all those things we put in Facebook, it become data for the Facebook. Facebook put them in algorithm and train them and become machine language through machine language and become AI, and they use them for AI applications because we need data to build those systems. So we are putting our pictures and all those things for free. We thought we are not doing anything. He's taking them as a data. I told you data is gold. So he's taking this thing as a data and use it to build different systems. So technology, if we ignore technology, we shouldn't ignore technology. So technology is actually helping people in this world. In Africa, we should not sit back.
You are absolutely right. Like I usually say, you're touching on a live wire there, sir, because I mean, like you rightly said, data is gold. In fact, it is more than gold, and the price of gold keeps going up. And you're saying data is even more precious than gold, and you're absolutely right. So I guess what I'm seeing and hearing from you is sometimes we do things without really thinking beyond what we're doing, and we don't realize that we're contributing to something. But there's a way in which, instead of contributing to something, we can actually make something for ourselves. And I think what I'm hearing from you is, when we talked briefly about education, you talked about the need for e-learning. Now, of course, given the fact that we have um, broadband issues, and so it might be very difficult for us to actually have good internet to be able to do these e-learnings. But in the meantime, there are certain things that we could do. And now, when you think of networking, just in terms of the phones, just the mobile systems and all that, are there some things you see that could benefit, say, our education system?
Yeah. So let me talk about, I think, the challenges we are facing, the barriers that is hindering us from expanding our technology. Uh, at 2008, I wrote my first thesis in UK. It's called dissertation and my topic was uh, this network convergence, voice over internet protocol implementation in Ghana. I wanted to use Ghana as, because when I'm doing any project, I try to do it in Africa. I use Africa as a project. When I was doing my doctor degree, they were forcing me to do it in America. I said no, I'll use Ghana. So my cloud computing program
Good
was
for you.
done for
Good
Ghana.
for
So
you.
I tried to make, yeah, because if you research about our countries or Africa, we research bring development. When we come here, we do research, and we do research in America, and they use it to develop the country. So sometimes you are going to write a PhD here, they will tell you that, oh, your program is supposed to be in America. I insisted that I have to do it for Ghana.
Good for
So
you. Actually, you know what? That's a very good point to make there, Dr. Obinchire, because we have young people who are listening from around the world, and they need to understand that there's value in creating something that benefits your own context. Yes, if you are in America and you want to contribute here, that's okay. But what you're
yeah,
saying is, think beyond where you are and actually say, I want something that would contribute to the advancement of Africa.
yeah,
Point. Thank you for mentioning that.
yeah, that is part of the brain drain. If you come here and you are in a PhD program and you want to write your dissertation, most of your lecturers would frustrate you. They tell you, do it here, do it in America, so that you can get a job, you can do this, you can do that. They told me a lot of time. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So my doctor thesis, A lot of people have read it, and a lot of countries have even adopted it. Cloud computing adoption in Ghana, based on technology acceptance model. Uh, so I did it, and when they found out my dissertation, my thesis was so important, they gave me the head of the dissertation, the whole university, the head of the dissertation. He pushed the person who was even was my supervisor, and he became. So people ask me, why is this Dr. Dolphin is my supervisor? I said, I don't know how he pushed Howard out and took over my dissertation. After I wrote my dissertation, they asked whether somebody wrote these statistics for me. I'm a statistician, and the way I did my dissertation, they didn't understand. And I had 4.0 GPA at my PhD from University of Colorado. 4.0.
That's
So I
very
insisted
high.
and I
It's
did it.
very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I insisted and did it for in Ghana. So what I was going to say, we were talking about digital divide since 2008 when I was doing my master. We are talking on digital divide, but now the divide is becoming even gap. The gap is becoming bigger. It's becoming bigger because we are lacking is infrastructure in to develop these technologies in Africa.
Mm.
The first thing I will talk about, most of AI are developed with big computer of high resources. They must have big CPU. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yeah. These computers they use to build AIs are not these normal computers. They are computer with high capacity of memory, 120 gigabyte of memory. Our small computers we are using are 16 gigabyte. We need something about 128 gigabyte of memory. We need something called GPU. GPU is built into the process, the graphic card, helping the GPU to make accelerate things. So if you don't have a GPU, these days people are they are building small GPU into our system. If you don't have GPU, then it's difficult for you to train a model to build AI. So most of them they build it on the cloud, but we don't have any cloud in Africa. Or the cloud, the biggest cloud in the world,
Mm.
Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud, uh, Azure for Microsoft, and Azure for Microsoft, and another one, Google Cloud. So we have four of them. These are big systems. These are cloud systems we don't have in Africa, and we pay them. If you are using them, you pay them. It's pay as you go. So you pay by minutes and seconds. And African governments and our government are paying for this cloud paying for cloud services every day. So when we build a
Mm.
cloud system in Africa, we can do that. And my next project, I'm working with some other people to start Africa Cloud. It's called AfriCloud. I've done the plan and everything. I'm trying to go to Ghana by I wanted to go November, but I'll be going by January so that we see how we can implement the cloud system in Africa so that actually we build it small and we grow it and cover Africa, because that is the infrastructure we need to make our country go forward technologically.
This is very encouraging, Dr. Obichire. I'm so glad you mentioned this. I'm looking at the time. I know that we are coming up the hour, but I know we started a little late. One of the things we would have wanted you to do is perhaps just to try to log out and come right back in to see whether you would be able to come in so that maybe we could finish um, on a better note there. So try to do that, sir. Try to do that. Just log out and come right back in. Um, our viewers and our listeners, thank you again for being with us. This is Today's Africa with your host here, Dr. FM, Dr. Francis Munangi Mpindu, here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, the number one global African Caribbean online radio. It is a platform that has been created by our executive team that enables us to have quite a variety of programs. Love Bay Afrobeat Talk Radio has so much programs, mental health, we have employment, we have youth, we have health, we have education, you name it. We have sports, we have entertainment. And so it's a powerful platform that has been created, and we're so eternally grateful to our executive team for creating this. And of course, we go live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Today's Africa, where we bring in guests to talk about matters pertaining to Africa. And so again, today, it's one of those things. I guess they call it radical embrace. We just have to embrace what is before us. Technology seems to be having some hitches for us this day, but we are grateful that Dr. Obinche has joined us today. He's a professor of computer science, and we're talking about the role of technology in advancing Africa. And he has some great things. And one of the things he just said, as we asked him to log out and come right back in, is the reference to Africa Cloud. This is something that would benefit us tremendously. Many of our African countries, we are failing to tap into the technological world because we don't have things of this nature. And I would imagine Dr. Williams Obinchire working with different people. Hopefully, he can connect with some of you out there. If you know someone who could benefit from this connection with Dr. Obinchire, please do that. Google his name. He is out there. He's a well-known practitioner in the computer science world, and tap into him, connect with him so that you could be part of this Africa Cloud, because we need something like that to be able to advance. And again, this is Today's Africa here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, the number one global African Caribbean online radio. And we are delighted that you have joined. Dr. Obinchire, you were just talking about the Africa Cloud, and I got excited hearing you talk about that, because that's something that we would benefit from right across Africa. Would you what are some of the expectations in terms of people who could be part of your team?
Yeah, with Africa Cloud, I want to, because I've brainstormed this for a while. My PhD dissertation, like I told you, is about cloud computing. And I've learned a lot about cloud computing. Like I said, the thesis is online, is at one of the biggest online library. If you go my name, you can find it there. It's cloud computing adoption in cloud computing adoption in I think I've got our cloud computing adoption, a study, quantitative study based on technology acceptance model. That is my thesis, actually. So cloud is what I've learned. I'm a subject expert matter or in cloud, and cloud is one of the emerging technologies it is through the cloud that we have the AI. Because without the cloud computing, we wouldn't have the AI. And
Right.
yeah, if you could remember, there was some time there was Nigeria election, and all their tabulation was on the cloud. And when there was controversy, they said at AWS cloud, experts supposed to come and tell us whether it was rigged or not. So we put everything on the cloud, and we don't have the cloud. We don't even have any of the cloud server in Africa. All the cloud servers built by these technologies are based in Europe and Asia and in Americans. With our population, we don't have anyone. And I always say that technology is not hidden from anybody. Technology is available for everybody because if everyone can build technology. I've built a lot of AI tools. Recently, I built an AI tools which I've been able to use it to even make a film, Nigerian film, of about 10 minutes. Technology is available for everybody. I've built a lot of AI. I've built an AI app which is three chatbox assistant. So people can speak to it and to respond. If you type on to it will respond to you. Just like we are using chat GPT and it's tree. It's not available in Africa. I've done that. I've done one for Igbo. I've done that
Mm-hmm.
one for I've done one for Igbo. I've done a lot of AI applications. You can build it. If you have the technology, you have the knowledge, you can build anything you want to build. That is competing. Yesterday, I built an AI app I'm now pushing to businesses where you enter any website into it. It will give you analysis of the website, whatever they do, and all those things. It will give you website analytics of that. I was building, a friend came and asked me, am I going to take money? I said, no, I just want to help the businesses. Because last week we had a program, IBM and Internet program conference, and it involved a lot of Ghanaians and people from Ghana, like ADB, Agri Development Banks, the Electricity Corporation of Ghana, ECG, Atomic Energy Commission, and all those things. And the questions they were asking were geared to AI. How can they use this AI to build something to help their businesses? And the thing is, we don't have the infrastructure. So how are they going to build it? If they are going to build it, then they are going to pay money to somebody in Europe and pay money to AWS or Microsoft or whatever it is. So why can't we build our own cloud? So that has been my one of the things I've have the business plan. I've done some 2 or 3 videos on it, and I'm pushing it. And I think uh, by next January, I will see it starting. Yeah.
Hmm. That is encouraging to hear, sir. This is very, very encouraging to hear. Now, it doesn't surprise me because you are a very, very down to earth practitioner. You are not just smart as in theories, but you you like to provide solutions.
Solutions. Yeah.
So, and that makes you a very rare breed. And it is encouraging and wonderful to know that we have people like um, um, connected to Africa who are part of Africa. And so, again, thank you for mentioning this. Now, when we look at some of the things that you have done, like I said earlier, you are very much committed to language and the education. What could you say to our ministries of education across Africa in terms of the role of technology? I know you mentioned e-learning, and I know that that is a developing work. But in the meantime, just to give them some ideas of what could happen as far as technology and education is concerned, what are some of those things you would like to speak to our education practitioners?
Yeah. I was because we have a limited time. I was going to talk about areas like agriculture, like the health system, and or where we can help the industry. How the industry can use technology to advance. You know, but we didn't have much time, so I only talk about education. So
Yes.
yeah, in education, like I said, Ghana government have just bring a program that you want to help people. Yeah, you want to launch about 1 million coders a year, which they've connected to one of Kofi Annan schools in Ghana. They are going to train people how to code. That's the way we should go. We have to train them. Like I said, I used to say, sometimes programming is not too difficult, but it's difficult if you don't understand. I go to teach people programming, and they tell me that, oh, you taught us this and it's very easy for us to understand, but somebody taught us and we couldn't understand. I say, yes, you can't give somebody something you don't have. You have to understand before you're able to. There was a time I was teaching programming in one of the universities, in universities in America here. And here, when you're teaching, sometimes they come to observe you. So the person who came to sit in my class to observe me was the registrar, and a lady. He was in his 50s. So after he started for about 1 hour, no, the class was about 1.5 hours. He started for about 30 minutes. And when he got up and went out, he called me. So when I went, he said, is the, it, was what you're teaching programming? I said, yes. You make it too easy, and I've enjoyed it. If if I was young, I would come to your class and learn programming. People are making it very difficult, because if you are just asking people to just look at the code and they write. My advantage I had in programming is that I've studied programming methodology. There's a method you have to use for programming, and we have programming logics. Those don't even have a programming language on it. If you understand the method and you understand the logics, then running a program is easy. I can write programming in 10 different languages. 10 different languages. So coding is very important. And sometimes we use English. Even the English people, we call it programming language because it's like English, but it's not English. It doesn't making sense. If you are typing, it doesn't make sense. It's not construction. It's not a grammar. You don't use grammar. It's code. That's why we call it coding. So you have to understand. Even the people who are here find it difficult to understand. And because of that,
Mm.
I'm trying to introduce language into programming. I've built a compiler. The program is use compiler to compile. I built a compiler and ID. ID is integrated development environment, where you can develop this thing. And I've written Python in tree. People can write Python in tree and to compile for them. I've built that thing. I put it on LinkedIn, and a lot of people are very interested. I have got about almost 1 million, 500,000 or something people who are encouraged. They want us to do that, because translating even the English to you don't even understand English very well, and you are going to do programming. You understand? So if we can start coding, I think we have four in the whole Africa. 4 countries are trying to do that. After I did a research, and I found that somebody is doing one in Nigeria, where it's asking people to use their native language to code. I don't know what is Pidgin, but I can write a Pidgin one. There's one in one of the East Africa, and one is, I think, in most of the people in North Africa. They use Arabic to code, so they don't have problem because that's what they speak. You understand? So if we can code with the language we understand, it will do the same thing. It will do the same thing. You can write things code in tree, and it will come out with English. So people can build an app with English with it. Because most of the apps we are using, some of them are written by Chinese with their language, and we see them in English.
That's right.
So
That's right. You you
yeah,
you are absolutely right there. In fact, I wanted to mention that the illustration you gave about someone coming to observe you teaching, and they were fascinated by the fact that you came down to the level of the learners, so that they would appreciate that in itself. I think uh, does away with this concept. And you as a professor, you know this, that Sometimes you guys have these jargons and vernacular that can sound um, very sophisticated. And someone said that, you know, professors are some of those people who complicate simple truths so that they remain in business. But you are saying, no, we don't do that. You actually simplify things so that people understand and appreciate what you're doing. And that is great. And I think this is one thing for us as Africans we can learn from within your context and some of the things that you're sharing with us. Becoming a professor is not so much that you're trying to impress students with your knowledge, but transferring knowledge, transferring data so that your students are representatives or representations of you in this world. So we're talking about transferring of information here. You are passing on information so that they carry on what they have learned from you. Like someone said, true education is what you remain with after you've forgotten everything you for the exam. So we need the practitioners, and thank you so much for mentioning that. Now,
Let me let me
some
let
of
me
the
chip,
young
let me chip in something. Let me chip in something. See,
yes.
when I go to a class to teach, if I go to a class to teach, I've been teaching for 15 years in America. If I go to the class to teach, the first thing I tell them that, in fact, you are going to listen to me. If you listen to me, you are going to pass. In the first place, I, if you want to pass, I can pass you all. American system is different, like than Africa, where we learn and cram and go to exam hall and write. Here, you teach the student, and you are the one who examine the student and pass the student. There's no
Oh, it sounds like our internet is acting up again here. We are live with Dr. Williams Obichire here talking about the role of technology in advancing Africa. And
yeah.
so, okay, go ahead.
So you set questions by your own. Sometimes I don't even set questions till the exams, a day before the exams. I'll set my question. So before the day, if a student asks me what is coming to the exam, I say I don't know. If you learn everything I've taught you, then you are going to pass. It's not to cram, to understand. It's not to cram, just to
Yeah.
understand and tell me what you. And the first day I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you that if you want to pass, I can pass you the first day you come to my class and you go. But that's not what I want. You are here to learn. So come and listen to me, learn what I'm teaching you, and after you leave here, you can use it to help you in your life. I don't want people who have come to cram. So
Yeah.
I don't teach people to cram. I teach people to learn.
Dr. Binchire, you're touching on something that I believe our educators across Africa, we as educators across Africa really need to embrace, because we have to move away from cramming knowledge and regurgitating information, but to be able to get information and use it in ways that enhances our lives, and not just remember concepts. Because if you cram things, a
You
week
forget.
later you may not even remember it. You forget it. But when you have applied information, I have a friend of mine who has focused on education in terms of learning, and the pedagogy. But I think oftentimes, because of our colonial connections, where we had remember this, remember dates, remember formulas and all that, which is important. But we also have to integrate that with real life or lived experiences in such a way that you are able to use these concepts in real life situations. And I really appreciated the point you made there about just simplifying things so that students understand it. So uh, thank you for mentioning that. Now, I was wondering, I know that we have some of our young people who are listening to you and they are interested in technology. Now, we want them to move away from just using the cell phone and thinking this is technology. You are saying there is more to technology than just having a phone. Now, Tell us, sir, what comes to mind? What would you like to say to our young people and invite them, in a way, entice them to pursue computer science? Come into this technology, because technology is here to stay. It's not flying out tomorrow night. It's here to stay. So, what are some of those things you would like to say to our young people as we think about the role of technology, not just in Africa, but the role of technology in the world today?
Yeah, we have to make teaching technology attractive. When I
Mm,
say teaching technology attractive, is that I could remember
you're
in
talking about making
Nigeria,
technology attractive. Yes.
yeah, attractive. Because one of my lecturers told me that if you are running from mathematics and you want to go and do coding or computer science, they're just like we are running from the frying pan to the fire. You understand? Because the way we teach the students is what made it difficult. Because if somebody who doesn't understand the subject is going to teach the person, they have to make it very difficult. A lot of people teach coding and ask the student to go to the book. The exercise is there, just give you an exercise and say code, code, code. They are coding and they don't understand what they are doing. A coding is Programming is a language, and a language, when you're speaking a language, you have to understand what you are saying. So every code of line you write, you have to understand what the code of line is doing. People don't do that. They just tell them to code and code and code, and the people are just cutting and pasting, and they don't know what they are achieving. These days, there's AI can help you to code, but if you are not a coder, then it becomes difficult for you because you don't understand what is.
Mm. This is very, very important uh, topic we're on today, the role of technology
Here.
in advancing
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah. We have to we have to we have to teach them when they are young. We don't have to let them grow up before they start teaching. That is what we have been doing in physics and most of the sciences. And if you go to Africa, you see that a lot of people don't want to do science because from the beginning of their class, their education, they were not introduced to it. And at one time, they just go to university and say, we are going to do physics, chemistry, and something, and or college, they are going to high school before they do that. So they see it as a foreign. It's something they don't want to do. We should start it from the beginning with their children so that some of them and when they are children they find out that this is what technology is going to do, this is what this code is going to do, it's going to help me to create this thing because it's a creative activity. So when they enjoy it, then automatically they have to do it. But we wait. But I don't blame them because we didn't even have computers at those days. When I was computers in books, so we don't even see what the computer will do. But if you are young and they start with you and before you grow, it become part of your life. So our education
Yeah.
system must be overhauled. I used to tell people that the way we teach in Africa it doesn't make sense. Do you know the reason why I'm saying that? Our model of teaching, educating people in Africa, was just like the time they were teaching people catechism in churches, where people were just
Mm.
memorizing the Bible verses. And that is what the colonial masters left it for us. That was those type. The education was not for us to develop. The education was us to be able to read the Bible and memorize so that we can go evangelist. You have to understand this.
Yeah.
Our education system in Africa was not for us to develop. It was for us to be able to read, memorize the Bible, and go and do missionary evangelical work.
Actually, you have made a very, very good point there again in terms of the connection with our colonial history.
That.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We need to move away from that because education that wasn't meant or created to develop, but meant for us to recite and regurgitate what had been given to us because that's what the colonial masters wanted to hear from us. And you were saying our education system needs a revamp. It needs an overhaul, and you're absolutely right. And I really uh, trust and believe that some of our educators are listening to this because we have to be creative enough to making sure that what we're teaching our children is something relevant, it's something that is applicable, it's something that has a future, something that will make us better people and not just regurgitate stuff because that's not what's going to create jobs. Jobs
No.
are coming from being creative and using technology. And people like yourself are very, very inspirational. And so, thank you for bringing these perspectives to us. And I am just looking at our time, and I realize that we really need to bring you back because I would like us to talk about technology in other institutions. Uh, in agriculture, in health sectors, in
Oh, I've moved.
mining industry. There are so many other aspects, even logistics when it comes to transportation. I mean, Africa is a huge continent. We have goods coming from North Africa to South Africa and South Africa all the way to North and West and East and Central Africa. So we need to understand the role of technology in this. And so I'm really thankful because part of what I am also
Let me make.
passionate about
Let me make.
is decolonization,
Let me make one point.
decoloniality.
One point.
Yes,
I'm talking when I talk about education. Sometimes I talk with authority. I've been to university, 5 universities in 4 different countries. My bachelor's is in Ghana. I want to have another 3 year diploma course in Nigeria Air Force Institute of Technology. That's the two.
yes,
In sorry, I've been to 2 universities: software engineering at University of St. Thomas and PhD. So I've been to 5 different universities in 4 different countries. So if I'm talking about education, I know what I'm talking about. I've seen the difference. I know where
yes.
it works and where it doesn't work.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you are professor, and we cannot argue with you on that because, uh, I mean, not only are you just a professor, but you're someone who is passionate about transferring information to students, sharing. And I really liked your focus on, I think, in a nutshell, what you're saying, and this is something that I have heard, and it was actually brought to my attention by Dr. Ferris. Dr. Ferris is a native Canadian who says that educational knowledge is empowerment. It is empowering. When people in Africa, in the US, in China, in Europe, in wherever,
I actually moved from
Southern
where I'm
America, Latin
staying to.
America, everywhere, when people have knowledge, they're actually empowered or they're empowering themselves. And so, um, and this is what we do in this broadcast. We're sharing information so that we empower one another with knowledge so that we do something about it. So we're not just taking in information, but we want to be able to use that information as well. So I know that our time is slipping away here and we are going to be winding down shortly. But I would like you to think in information you would like to give with us today and say, listen, I've talked about so many things, and rightly so, because you're a very resourceful person. You are very knowledgeable. Um, not just as a professor, but as a life coach. I mean, you have journeyed with various people and various young people in so many universities. You mentioned 5 universities, around the world. And so, what are some of the things you would like to live with us today as we wind down our time together? And I know this sounds very, very, um, you know, big, but would like you to summarize what are some of those things you would like to live with us today?
Yeah, I would say that all is not lost. Technology can take us to places, so we have to stay embrace the technology. We have to stop over relying on natural resources. We have to enhance our human capital. It is the human being who creates. Gold and other things were just put there by God. But if we want to do something, then we must create something. So we have to be able to enhance, we have to build our human capital. Those are the things we need to do. Let the people be relevant. Let them give them skills. Let us help them so that they can build something. They can think critically. There
Mm,
is human being who is going to do that. So invest in the human capital. We have to invest in the human being so that we can use they can create something for us. So that's what I will leave with us, that we should not be looking at development in just in agric is good, all this is good, but the human beings, we have to be able to enhance their ability to do something. So that's what I would leave. Yeah.
Dr. Obinchere, thank you so much for that focus. And I really think that you're touching on something very, very important there. Lately, I've been reflecting on this concept which comes out of South Africa, Ubuntu. You know, we're talking about human beings, and you're talking about enhancing the human. If we really focus on humanity, we are investing in humanity. We're talking about the relevance. You're talking about critical thinking. These things do not come from a vacuum. These things don't just happen by chance. We're talking about intentionality here. And I am so glad that people like yourself, who are practitioners, are able to bring these to our attention and just saying, you know, we need to look at the world differently. We need to look at each other differently. We need to relate to each other differently. So we need to be voices of hope, but at the same time, there has to be intentionality with regards to what are we doing in preparation for um, technology that is here. I liked what you said earlier. Um, Data is gold. It's more than gold, and technology is here to stay. And if it is, what are we going to do to make sure that we tap in, not just as a tool, but I think you use it and you say it's not a tool, but it's a catalyst. This is something that we need. This is part of life now. And so we are so grateful that we have had this opportunity to have this conversation with you. And just before I wind down again, I'm just wondering. I see this pensive look on your face, and I'm wondering whether you were like, oh, yeah, there's something else I wanted to say. So please go ahead and say that if you have one more thing you wanted to say before we wind down.
I don't know why this connection is broken. I even moved from my office to my hall and it's still breaking. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
All what I will say is, okay, technology is available here. And the scary thing about, hello?
Yes, we're
You
listening.
One thing is the advent of AI is moving the world very fast. Though AI didn't come only today, but for the past 3 years or 5 years, The what AI is bringing to the world is a little bit scary. So, and it's technology advancement, and it's moving very fast. AI started about 70 years ago. We knew it about it long time ago. At my master degree, we're talking about AI, but now the AI
Mm.
have been able to have grown, because the AI we see is combination of statistics and combination of statistics and computer science, because the algorithm that built the AI model is statistics, and the language which you are using is programming, and we use that one to teach a computer how to think like a human being.
Yes, you are absolutely right. There are some things that are happening
And
in this
we have
technological
to
world that
embrace.
we need to tap into.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we have to embrace it. We should not ignore technology. AI is not going to take our jobs. AI is going to enhance our capability to do some things. So people are thinking that AI is going to take our jobs, so they are not doing anything. Just learn something about AI. Just learn some small application of them, see how they work. It will help us in our industries. It will help us in. It can do a lot of things in the businesses. It will help us in education. It will help us. It will help us in our area, medicine, and all those things. Without AI, they could not have. Uh, without AI, they could not have got COVID vaccine within a year or something, because that thing could have taken them about 10 years to look for medication for the vaccine.
Mm.
So we have to embrace it, and we have to teach them. We have to tell our students.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And um, so next time around, we want to make sure. Yeah, next time around, we want to make sure that we'll be able to tap into agriculture and all the other disciplines. But again, um, Professor Dr. Williams Obinchire, thank you so much for being with us. I was just seeing some notes here. We have a young man all the way from Zimbabwe, Godfrey Mateko, who is listening. And we have Kayode Osonuga, who is listening all the way from England. And he says, very, very interesting talk. And the young men, they are interested in technology in Africa, and they are actively involved in technology. So again, people like yourself, you are an inspiration to our young people and to everybody across Africa. And so thank you very much, sir, for making time to be with us. We have to bring you back, and that is not a threat, it's a promise. So we want to make sure that you come back next time. We will develop this and talk about this again. And so again, to our viewers and our listeners, this is your host here, Dr. FM, Dr. Francis Munangi Mpindu, uh, coming to the end of our broadcast today on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio on today's Africa, where we go live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love Bay Afrobeat Music Radio, your number one global African and Caribbean online radio. And so we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course TikTok. And so we are so delighted that you made time to be with us today with our guest, Dr. Williams Obinchire, who is professor of computer science. He is a practitioner who has worked in various colleges and universities. There's so many things that he highlighted to us, and I hope that you'll be able to listen in and pass this to other people as well, and just let them know that technology is here to stay. It didn't start yesterday, but it's here, and we definitely need to put it to use. It's here to enhance our lives. And so, again, thank you for being with us. We meet again next week where we have another guest in. And thank you again for joining us here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, the number one global Caribbean African online radio. And again, thank you for being with us. And by the way, coming up on the hour is the Caribbean Flavor with Mr. Marcus and Miss Jen to Blue. You don't want to miss that. And again, Thank you for being with us today. Let's continue to be voices of hope and be an inspiration, not just today, but in the days to come. We live in a world where there's so much discouragement. And so let's be voices of hope to those around us again. So, again, thank you for being with us.